Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, well, with that, thank you very much for taking the time to be able to do this interview and talk about this brand new album from As Everything Unfolds with Within Each Lies the Other, coming out a month from today on Long Branch Records. I've gotten the chance to be able to check this album out, and I love what you guys do. I love that great creation of, like, having things so melodic and so catchy, but also so heavy at the same time. It's just a great mixture that the band has come up with.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, really appreciate that. Yeah, that's really like, I feel like that's definitely what we kind of aim for. That the like big, like that like huge epic sound, and then the kind of like more kind of like dialed down, like chill melodic vibe as well. Like hitting both of those at the same time. That's definitely the kind of thing that we're like striving for. So I'm glad that comes across.
Oh, absolutely, it does. So, with that in mind, I mean, of course, with the EP coming out a couple years ago now in 2018, it's hard to believe that's already 3 years ago now. But the fact that this album is coming out in a month now, I mean, how does it feel to be able to release an album in the times that we're living in right now?
Yeah, I mean, we've been sitting on some of these songs for like ages. Like we started writing this album kind of like just after the release of the last EP. So, we've been sitting on them for ages, and we actually like recorded the album itself like a while ago as well. So for us, like we've just been gagging to get it out and just like let the world hear it for so long. So it's good like to finally let the world kind of hear it, but like releasing it kind of in the current climate is a bit of a weird one, really, because like, I think that people are spending like a lot more time just listening to music like at the moment, because like there's nothing else to do. So it's nice that people have the time to kind of like sit down and properly like appreciate it, if you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the positives that can come through with everything that we're going through right now is the fact that people who do enjoy discovering new music and catching up with their favorite bands are able to have the time more likely to be able to check out those new albums, being able to go to Spotify and checking out new bands or recommendations or whatever the case is. And, the fact that you guys are doing so well virtually as well, too, with streams, I mean, it's incredible to see those numbers.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like, it's so exciting for us. This is definitely, well, like obviously our biggest release to date, but it's nice to kind of like feel that natural progression. And I feel like the sound of the album and just kind of everything around it, like our like image and like everything kind of like follows on from the last EP. It's that kind of natural progression and that like natural growth. And the record itself just is a bit more mature, I think. So yeah, that's all good.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to be able to describe it as well, too. I was also able to go back and listen to the previous EP to be able to compare and contrast, and, seeing that natural progression of the band and seeing the maturity of the band, too, like when it comes to the songwriting and knowing what to play, what not to play, the themes of the songs. I mean, there's a lot of maturity that's going on throughout this album, and even though you've had to sit on the album for a while, especially when it comes to lyrical content, it feels like a great time to be able to release that for a lot of people going through a lot of emotions right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the fact that we've been sitting on it for a while and that it was written and recorded over such a long period of time gives it that kind of breadth of sound. Like there are some songs on there which are just like pure kind of like anger, like wallow, like that's just, it's like a frustration song. And then there are those ones on there like Grayscale, which are just kind of more laid back, and that kind of like variation of emotion, I think, and I hope is going to kind of resonate with people, especially at the moment. Like there's just like such a wide range of like emotion that people are feeling at the moment, and I hope that resonates with people. And I hope people kind of like relate to that.
Oh, absolutely, and you can hear it throughout the entire album too, and that's why I appreciate like tackling so many different kinds of emotions that's going on through here, but also the fact that the track listing makes you really feel the ebb and flow of the album. A lot of those peaks and valleys, the ups and downs, like you can hear the anger in Wallow, and then coming up later in Grayscale, you can hear the different emotions that's going on through there, and just like through the end of the album, and you hear all of that too. I mean, it feels like a great ebb and flow that's going on throughout.
Yeah, man, and like we like just writing music that, well, firstly that we like playing, and also that we like would want to listen to ourselves, and something that like as like for me personally as like a listener of like as a consumer of music, like I love it when songs and albums and artists keep you guessing, where there's like a constant kind of change of emotion, of flow. That is what personally like keeps me interested in a song. So we kind of try and write in that way as well. I feel like we want to write music that we want people to listen to, and to have that kind of like up and down, that kind of like soft and mellow, and then that like just pure like chaos is what like I think people want to listen to. Well, I hope they do anyway.
Yeah. Oh, totally. So, thinking about that as well, too, I mean, obviously with the emotions that's going on throughout the entire album, let alone being able to pick out a single song or two. I mean, when, knowing that you have had these songs for so long and not being able to release the songs for so long and not being able to tour behind it. So, I mean, when you're thinking about the album right now and it's coming out in a month, like, do the songs still hold the same amount of power to you, or has a little of that dropped off since you've had to hold on to them for so long?
I don't know. It's kind of a weird one, because I think like your like relationship with songs change over time. Like maybe what you initially felt about them, like when they were written, develops into like something else. So they all still like resonate with all of us like on some level, but that may be like constantly kind of changing. Like for example, like Grayscale, it was that kind of it was originally like it caught me on like a sad kind of level, but now it's kind of like the ending of the song I feel like resonates with me more. That kind of the breakdown at the end where it just gets filthy, that kind of like anger is what is like what I connect with more now. So I feel like although like yeah we've had them for a while, your relationship with like individual songs changes over time, and also you like the relationship changes with songs when you play them live as well. And we haven't obviously yet had that like that time to like we haven't been able to play any of these songs live really. So I'm kind of excited for when touring is finally back. I'm excited to see how we then like change our relationship with the songs, playing them like in front of people. It'd be interesting to see.
Oh, for sure. And that's also great to hear that like with a song being able to have that staying power and still being able to enjoy them in some way over the years, that you're able to find different attachments to the songs too. I mean, rather than just like you were talking about with Grayscale, I mean, the fact that you went from just focusing on the sad parts of it to the end of the song where it does have that great breakdown that's going on within it, and you're able to enjoy different parts, you're able to look at different parts, you're able to dissect things in different ways, and that really shows a lot for what the songwriting and the chemistry of the band is all about, being able to create those songs and be able to have those different meanings behind them.
Yeah, 100%. It's cool. It's what we like to do, And as I say, like we just want to write music that we like to play and that people want to listen to. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So with that in mind too, I mean, again with being able to sit on the songs, and now again coming out a month from today on Long Branch Records. I mean, when you're able to sit down and play, I mean, how are you feeling now, like actually playing the songs? I mean, do you get the chance to still be able to rehearse and practice?
Nah, we haven't really. I mean, we all like practice on our own, in our own time and stuff. But playing, I've kind of practiced the songs and stuff in my bedroom, but like, it's obviously not the same. And you miss that kind of, that, as you say, like the chemistry with like the other members of the band is what like brings it to life for me. That's what like gives it the like the balls behind the song. So like I'm really excited, to be honest, to finally like get to put them on stage and have that like on stage chemistry, and hopefully that then conveys onto like the fans, and we can like experience that together. That'd be really cool.
Oh, totally. And I can only imagine how great of a feeling it'll be once you're able to get into the same room together again and be able to play the songs, let alone being able to get on the stage for the first time again.
Yeah, man, I'm gagging for it. Like at the moment, like, and you know, as like a drummer, like drumming for me is a big kind of just like release of frustration. Obviously, just being able to hit something, it always kind of helps. So like playing the songs at the moment, like individually, is the relationship with them is one of frustration. Just because I can't like put it out just yet, if you know what I mean. Like it's kind of difficult to explain. But like, yeah, it's frustrating, and like we're gagging to get them on stage, really.
Oh yeah, and then, you know, thinking about that as well too. I mean, it'll be interesting to see like how well the equipment holds up after, especially when you're able to get that aggression out for the first time.
Yeah, man, I'm imagining a lot of broken sticks.
So, you know, thinking about that as well, too, I mean, of course, being the drummer, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can set up and play it. Like, what is your current kit setup?
So I've got a Pearl Export drum kit. I've had it for years, man. Like, it's the one that I learned on. Like, I've got mostly Zildjian cymbals. I've got a nasty it's a Sabian China. It's like the Holy China. I think it's like a Chad Smith signature.
Oh, yes.
But, oh man, it cuts through. It's so tasty. That's probably my favourite piece of kit at the moment, to be honest, that China. Yeah, it's real nice. And then I've got a Tama Style Classic snare as well, and it gives us a nice crack. But recently, like, I've just purely out of boredom, man. Like, I've started just kind of experimenting with like stacking cymbals, which isn't really something that I'd ever kind of done before. Because like previously, I kind of just been playing with, you know, big washy cymbals. I've started to kind of like, out of just a desire to kind of tone it back and make space for like the kind of like soaring synths, like especially like within the mix. Like I've wanted to kind of tone back that washiness of the cymbals. So I've just started kind of like putting smaller cymbals on top of each other, really, just whacking them and see how it sounds. Just to try and get some kind of like you know, short sustain, like nice cuttiness through, and who knows, like we might be seeing some of that on album too.
Oh, that's so cool. And, you know, when you get the opportunity to be able to experiment like that, especially with stacking cymbals, I mean, whether you're getting a couple splashes together, whether you're getting a china and a crash, or a couple of hi-hats and inverting them, or crashes, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can stack things together in a cymbal stack like that, whether they're brand new cymbals or you want to be able to give some life to crack cymbals. There's so many different sounds that you can get from that instead of just using like a washy cymbal like you were talking about.
Yeah, man, and actually, like kind of a mate of mine, like he cut out. So I used to break a lot of cymbals when I was a bit younger. Like I don't so much anymore, but like I used to break loads of cymbals. And a mate of mine like does like cymbal cutting, and I had like one that was what was it? It was like an 18-inch crash or something. It was nothing special, but like I'd broken it in like 3 different places, and it was in a proper state. But my mate like cut it out in like all the different like cracks, and then put some like Swiss style holes in it as well. And it's this really like unique looking and sounding cymbal. Like, because obviously when you get someone to custom cut the cymbal, you're never going to get another one like it. So it gives you like that really unique sound. And I find that stacking cymbals like that is really cool, because it gives like sometimes like it's an undesirable sound, but it's still kind of cool in its own way.
Oh, for sure. You know, thinking about that as well too. I mean, when it comes to stacking, I mean, like, are you just like playing them just to see what kind of sounds are you looking for, or are you looking for like a higher sound or a lower sound when you're stacking cymbals? Like, how are you going about that?
To be honest, man, like, I just kind of put bits together and see, like, I'll just try loads of combinations and see what I like. It's really kind of like my process is really like having something in mind and then aiming for it. I just kind of mess around and see what happens, and see what I like. But in general, kind of at the moment, particularly because as I say, like wanting to move away from the washiness and make space in the mixes and stuff, like I want something that's a little cuttier, like something that's a little higher, and really like quick and piercing, and like I love trashiness as well. So that kind of thing, yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, whether you're using it for accents or you're writing on it the whole time or using them for particular breakdowns or whatever the case is, I mean, you can get so many great sounds out of stack cymbals like that. And then when you have that in comparison to the washy cymbals, I mean, that really adds a lot to the arsenal of your setup too, because you have that many different variations that you can go on.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and I love kind of using it interchangeably, or using a stack interchangeably with like just a slightly larger china. Because for me, it's kind of like you'd kind of like when you go into a breakdown or something, like you're kind of expecting like, oh, okay, we're gonna just like ride on the china for a little bit, and then when in a song there's like a second breakdown and it goes then onto like a stack that's like somehow even trashier than the china that you were riding on. For me, that's just like, oh yeah, that's so cool.
Oh, for sure. And going back to what you said a little bit ago, I love the fact that you're playing exports. I have an export kit myself. I have a kit that came out the year I was born, and I've had that since I was in school, and I just absolutely love that thing, and I've been using that to record and gig and everything with, and exports just have an amazing sound to them. I mean, they really are a workhorse set.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's been through some stuff, that kit. Like it's been well all around Europe, because we toured Europe a couple of years ago. But yeah, I've been playing it like my whole life, man. I just love it. There's nothing. I haven't found a kit yet that I like more. Although I did recently buy off the guitarist Adam. He had a Tama hyperdrive kit that I bought off him, and it's got like a small, I think it's like a 10-inch tom as well. And I've never really played with like smaller, almost like there's like concert tom type drums that I've never really played with them before, and so I'm kind of excited to start like messing around with that, try and get some like Phil Collins stuff going on. That'd be cool.
Oh, totally. And yeah, I mean, that's a lot like my kit too. I'm so used to having like the bigger sizes on it. Like my biggest rack tom is a 14-inch, and my biggest floor tom is an 18-inch. Like it's those gigantic 80s hair metal size drums that I'm used to.
Sick, man.
Yeah,
That's
and then
cool.
when I get to sit down and play with like some of the smaller toms on a kit, and just like hearing those high pitched sounds to it, I mean, it'd be so cool to have like some of those higher ones, and then being able to go all the way down and just have that variation of notes possible.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not really like in the kind of style that like the band would go for. But I mean, just for me personally, like I love just playing around with it, like having that kind of like dynamic range of that super high like cutty tom, and then all the way back down to like a big ass floor tom. Like I just love that kind of range. But that, I think, like for me, like I say, like Phil Collins is like one of my kind of like biggest influences, and that's obviously he's got like toms like all day long. So yeah, I just love that, man.
Oh, for sure. I mean, whether it's a solo work or with Genesis, I mean, like being able to see that evolution of his playing too. I mean, from the more progressive rock side to the more pop rock side. I mean, it's awesome to see that versatility that he was able to go through. And when you have an influence like that, I mean, when you try to replicate something, any of his amazing fills that he's done over the decades, and you're just getting that inspiration behind it, it really opens your ears to what's possible with the music that you're playing as well.
Yeah, for sure. And like, because you know, like I listen to kind of a lot of like our peers and stuff, and sometimes like you get in kind of like an echo chamber of what you're listening to, like the type of music that you listen to, you get stuck within like a certain genre or something, like, and you get stuck in that like kind of, it's a bit like, yeah, it's kind of like an echo chamber. And then every now and then, like, I'll kind of remind myself to like move out and listen to something else. And that, like you say, yeah, it just like opens your ears up to like, oh yeah, like there's so much more here that we could like play with. And that's like, for me, that's what like is kind of exciting when I hear something that I'm not expecting. And yeah, just kind of, yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So getting things back into the band as well. I mean, obviously not being able to get together and practice and rehearse and trying out new ideas. Have you talked to the rest of the band to see if there's like any new ideas that they're coming up with on their end, or are you guys just focusing on promoting the album right now?
I mean, yeah, most of the focus is on promoting the album. We're just excited to get it out. But I mean, there are things going on in the background. We're always moving. We're always kind of, everyone kind of practices and kind of does little bits on their own. So stuff's always in the works. Yeah, that's probably all I can say on it now at the moment, to be honest.
Well, that's all right. I mean, I'm glad to see that there's things. Hopefully, when we get back to some kind of normalcy, there will be a lot of things I'll be going forward with the band. And until then, like a month from today, there's an amazing new album that you guys are going to be able to put out through Long Branch Records. And I really enjoy what you guys are doing with this. I think it's just a killer album from start to finish. And yeah, within each lies the other is an album that whether anyone's checking this out that's already a fan of the band or checking you guys out for the first time, I highly recommend it. And being able to check out everything as everything unfolds.
Yeah, man. Oh well, thanks. That means a lot. I appreciate them and kind words. And yeah, I just hope everyone check it out, man. Like, it's cool. I hope you won't regret it.